How do you become a great creative director? We'll dive into that in this video. Hey, my name's Ka-Lok. I've been a creative professional for 7 years and I currently run a consultancy where I help brands develop their content. And today's topic comes from a question I received on Instagram from Tony Bui. To summarise the situation, his company is tapping him to be a creative director and he wants to step up to the plate, but he's unsure he's ready to take on all the responsibilities of that role. So his question is, what makes for a great creative director? I love this question as I feel the role of creative director is something that sits quite close to my heart. But just to make sure that we're all on the same page on what a creative director actually does, they're usually in charge of leading the vision and the direction of the creative output for the business, overseeing the process and managing a team of creatives from designers and copywriters to photographers, videographers, and outside agencies. I think most creative directors can be summarised into 3 categories. If we to actually break down the title of creative director, you have the creatives, which are the artists and dreamers and visionaries who just want to bring to life something original, and then you have the directors in the sense of a managing director, the leaders, the good people managers, and the goal-oriented achievers. That was pretty catchy. But as the title of creative director suggests, the best are a balance of the two. So having been in a director position myself, I think there are 3 key qualities every great CD needs: vision, communication, and a jack of all trades. A great creative director should truly be a creative at heart. So they didn't get into this industry or to the position they're in now just for the job, but they live and breathe this creative work and it runs in their blood. So they need a strong point of view, perhaps sometimes a binary and polarizing opinion, to not sit in the grey area but actually go for the edges and stand for something. People aren't going to agree with you all the time, but that's okay. That's why you're the creative director, to lead with a vision, take smart risks, and be confident that you can make it work. Being a visionary doesn't mean all the great ideas rest on your shoulders. In fact, most of the time, the ideas probably didn't even come from you to start with. A good CD knows to park their ego at the door and be open to all ideas no matter who they come from, where they come from, or how silly they may sound at the start. Because great ideas don't tend to start out as great ideas. In my experience, the best ideas come out from the worst ideas when you're just throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. But it's your job as a CD to be the filter of good ideas, but more importantly, to be the refiner of ideas that are thrown your way. To have the wherewithal to know when a concept or an idea just isn't working, but isn't worth tossing out either, as it just needs a bit of a nip and a tuck, some refinement, and TLC. A visionary knows in their gut what works, what doesn't, and how to mine for diamonds in the rough. Your team look to you for direction, so you should be developing their concepts and elevating their ideas along with them, which builds trust, morale, and that is what cements your position as a lead. Communication. A lot of CD work is people management and leadership. Both require a lot of clear communication. There's no point in having a vision if you can't get buy-in from your teammates, stakeholders, or clients. So a good creative director also needs to be a good salesman. Your team is essentially made up of a bunch of artists, and as artists, we have strong opinions, so you need to be able to communicate effectively your opinion and your decision moving forward. As a leader, you should be able to inspire your team and empower them to bring out the best qualities in everyone you work with. And all of this begins with empathy. Being a good communicator and a good leader doesn't just mean you can present and persuade and wax lyrical on a subject. Most of the time, it actually means you need to be a good active listener. So your team and collaborators all feel heard and considered, and even when they may not agree with your direction 100%, they can still trust that you know what you're doing. As an example, in film, some directors just bring out the best in their actors. Think Spielberg and Hanks or Scorsese and DiCaprio. But you hear so many stories from actors that at the time of shooting, they were a bit tentative on the direction they received, but they still wholeheartedly trusted the director, and when they saw the result, it paid off. You can't do that without trust on both sides, and that's what clear communication does. But to go deeper on the subject of empathy, this segues into my final point. A creative director should be a jack of all trades. There's a debate about specialising over generalising, and the common consensus is to develop a T skill, to have a wide breadth of knowledge on many topics, but to develop a deep expertise on one specific subject. For a creative director though, I think this T skill should be more of a V skill or a inverted triangle. To have a good foundation on several topics while still remaining an expert at whichever craft that brought you into this industry. To be able to communicate with empathy, you need to be able to speak in everyone's language, which means you need a good foundation in everybody's roles. That doesn't mean you need to be able to do their job to their ability, but ideally enough that you can give notes and speak like a native. So for example, you might be speaking the design language of X heights and ligatures, but then you should be able to turn around and talk about easy easing and lighting with your motion designers and photographers. Because when you can get on the same level as someone else, your team will see you as an equal and feel that you understand their position. Again, this is about building trust as a leader. director. I see a creative director as a big picture person with a monocle for fine detail. It's important to remember we're not here to make art for the sake of art in business. At the creative director level, you need to have a good understanding of business, marketing, communications, and strategy, all whilst acting as a bridge for your creative team to translate what those business goals actually mean in the context of a creative vision and deliverables. So whether you're chatting marketing and business with the C-suite, or you're talking shop with your creatives, a great creative director needs to be well versed in multiple subjects. To summarise, the creative director should have a vision. They should be a creative first, have an opinion, and be open to developing bad ideas. They need to be a great communicator to be able to sell an idea, be a good listener, empower and empathise. And finally, they should be a jack of all trades, to develop a V skill and have a good knowledge of multiple subjects, speak the language of everyone, and basically the CD should be a mix of right brain creativity and left brain business strategy. Hopefully that gives you a better idea of what qualities are needed to be a creative director, but feel free to let me know what you would add to this list. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments below, or you can reach me on social media in the links in the description, and I'll be sure to get back to you. If you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate a like, and do consider subscribing. I've been Ka-Lok, that's it for now, till next time, bye.